Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Likon Obanjo. The top stories at this hour. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike blames Governor Makinde for PDP crisis, pulls out of reconciliation deal. Over 17,000 candidates scored above 300 in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Mpox crisis deepens in Sierra Leone amid rising deaths and rapid spread. Details to come your way shortly. We start the news from Abuja, where the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has declared his withdrawal from all agreements previously reached to resolve the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, vowing to fight on until justice is attained. Wike, in a statement titled PDP Crisis, My Position, released on Sunday, blamed non-adherence to agreements reached as the bane of the party. He maintained that all parties must respect resolutions previously agreed upon, including the recognition of Senator Samuel Anyanwu as the party's national secretary in line with a Supreme Court judgment, withdrawal of all legal actions related to Rivers State by the PDP's national legal advisor. He also regretted that despite helping many governors win elections, he never asked them for anything in return. He accused Makinde of colluding with Enugu State Governor Peter Mba to push for Udo Okoye's emergence as the National Secretary, which he says threatens the party's stability in the southeast. Meanwhile, former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has confirmed he will contest in the 2027 general elections, but says it may be his final run for the presidency. In a video message that has gone viral on the Labour Party's WhatsApp platform, Obi addressed a group of young Nigerians, stating that by 2027, he will be 65 years old and may not seek public office beyond that point. The former Anambra State Governor emphasized his ongoing commitment to supporting the next generation of leaders, even if he steps back from active politics after the next election. Speaking candidly, Obi also pointed to internal challenges within opposition parties, blaming the current ruling administration for allegedly fueling divisions in both the Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party. Obi's remarks are seen as both a reaffirmation of his 2027 ambitions and a signal to younger Nigerians to take up the mantle of leadership in the years ahead. And still talking about the 2027 presidency, it appears there is growing optimism on the Atiku El-Rufai-led coalition being constituted to challenge President Bola Tinubu. Former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has consistently expressed confidence on the opposition coalition to ensure President Bola Tinubu is removed in 2027. He said the coalition, led by Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and other opposition stakeholders, has been formed and will soon be publicly unveiled. The coalition, spearheaded by Atiku, aims to wrest power from Tinubu in the next presidential election. I'm now joined by a Professor Simeon Na, to look at the personalities and political antecedents of some of the names being paraded as coalition chieftains. Thank you, Professor Na, for joining us on the news.
Good evening and welcome, viewers.
Now, let's begin with the political antecedents of Nasir El-Rufai. Would you consider the former governor of Kaduna State a blessing or a baggage to the coalition, particularly if it would actually be part of the coalition to bring a change that is so desired by many?
Former Governor Nasir El-Rufai and former Minister of Federal Territories, Abuja, is a controversial figure. Whether it's considered a baggage or an advantage to the coalition is neither here nor there, and I will explain what I mean by that. You see, if you are looking at it from the point of view of his electoral value as a person, and vis-a-vis what he did in 2019, you might say it's a baggage, because people don't forget easily. Even if they do, the internet doesn't forget. It's alleged that they threw in the gates or the borders of Nigeria for other Fulanis to invade the country. He was a major player in that. Although President Muhammad president, but El-Rufai was a major player in that. And we recall too that asking for 100 billion or thereabouts, and I understand that the same Nasir El-Rufai. However, among the Fulanese, he still wields a very strong influence. And in Kaduna, for instance, the man at the saddle now does not favor the Fulanese. Because right now, the southern Fulani that was forgotten in the past has been getting some infrastructures in his administration. And I think the northern part of Kaduna is not happy with that. So if you look at it from that angle, you can see that he still has certain jokers to play when it comes to election. However, I'm quick to say this. It is too early in the day to begin to say what will happen or what will not happen. Recall that even the politicians themselves are running helter-skelter now. Initially, he moved over to SDP, and they said the SDP was going to be the rallying point for the coalition. But today, ADC is equally coming up as a rallying point. So the question is it SDP or ADC? However, recall that this last weekend, Peter Obi spoke and he said he was not leaving the Labour Party. So where does this place us? That's why I say it is too early in the day. In politics, 24 hours is a very long time. Okay. So it is too early in the day to begin to say what will happen or what will not happen.
Okay.
However,
we might still touch on Peter Obi if time permits. But then we still dwell on the former governor, that is Nasir El-Rufai, who actually campaigned for President Tinubu, but for some security indictments, failed to actually secure a Senate endorsement for him to become a minister. But then looking at him and his personality, do you see a man who's actually driven by ideology, or is it just for personal gains?
He's a politician, and a Nigerian politician for that matter. All Nigerian politicians are driven by their pockets, by apologies to Oshokomole, the former governor of Ekiti State. They are driven by stomach infrastructure. I can tell you that for free. Because he was one of those that went to court before the election in 2023 because of the money redesign policy. And he went to court to favor the current president, himself and the governor of Kogi State. Now, because he lost the ministerial slots, he got angry with the party and is now leaving the party. You can see that, the interest, what is mine in it is what the problem here. Everybody is looking for his pocket. What am I going to gain? If I'm not going to gain anything, then there's no need, throwing my weight behind anybody. So that's what's going on here. Why I brought the angle is I recall that it has been bandied that is going to be the vice presidential candidate of Obi. And another angle is saying that Atiku is proposing Obi to be the vice presidential candidate. That's why I said some of these things are permutations. Some of these permutations are neither here nor there until the twilight of 2027. By the time we get to December 2026, January 2027, some of these things will become clearer because the election is coming up in May. So by January 2027, the coast will be very clear. Okay. So we know who is doing what or who is not doing what. All
right. Even as we continue to permutate, I'd like to also get your thoughts about Peter Obi. It was widely reported that he said that it would be staying in the Labour Party. He probably would be flying solo and not joining the coalition. And he also said that this might just be his last shot at the presidency. What do you think might actually happen in 2027 with him and the statements that he has actually made?
Let me tell you who politicians are. There are people that don't believe themselves. If you were around in 1993, the late Abiola did say that he would not contest again when these elections will come and the president will cancel and stuff like that. So in 1993, he came in as a presidential candidate. And as he was coming back, some journalists met him at the airport, international airport. I said, Chief, you did say that you are not going to contest again. And we learned that you have taken the ticket of SDP. He said, oh, and so you believe that? Then you are not a politician. So if they believe that he said he wasn't going to contest, they are not politicians, they are journalists. So if a politician tells you something, then and you believe it, you're on your own. Because we had even President Muhammad Buhari crying on television and said he will not contest again. But we saw what happened in 2015. He was brought back to contest again. So a politician telling you he will not contest again is just one of those gimmicks. Maybe to make you believe that, please, support me this time around because I might not have another shot at it. So I will take that with a pinch of salt, although people differ. But then, judging from the political space we have in Nigeria today, I don't want to believe any politician who says he's not going to contest again, because tomorrow somebody will come and dangle a carrot and give them 1,001 reasons why they should contest and tell them how Nigerians love him and want him to be there. And you'll see him coming back to say, I'm sorry I said this before, but right now I'm doing it because Nigerians want me to do that.
Okay. All right, so finally, earlier you talked about which coalition will be formidable enough to cause an offset, maybe the SDP, the AP, the SDP or the ADC, but then maybe the PDP too. But then we've seen massive defections from the PDP to the APC. How would you react to that?
I said it earlier, I've said it on one national television, that there's going to be an implosion in APC. Watch out. Let me start from Delta. You saw what happened in Delta when the present governor, the former governor, all the legislators, local government chairmen now decided to move over to APC. Now, the number one person in Delta, Omar Agege, that was a former deputy Senate president, who is the leader of the party in Delta, did not come out to welcome them. It was the current Minister of Aviation that came to welcome them. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Recall that in elections, either the head of state, the president, or the governor is given the first offer of refusal. So if the PDP man crosses over, is accepted. Because right now, as we speak, he has not been accepted in APC because they said they want to see his resignation from PDP because before they can register him as an APC member. So just like the Supreme Court told us when 27 members left PDP for APC in Rivers State, that it was a television defection. We are taking the Delta defection as a television defection until they do the needful. Having said that, you now discover that there are about 4 people gunning for that will be gunning for the ticket in 2027. The current governor that is moving over to APC, Omar Gege, that has indicated his interest before now, the aviation minister that is eyeing that position, and Ned Woko that is equally partially eyeing the position. So you see, there are 4 giants that will be gunning for that position. That will tell you what's going to happen in that. I recall what politicians do. Once they are not favored, the next thing is that they find another political party where they can go and carry out whatever they want to do. Okay. So that's why I'm saying it is too early to begin to say people are defecting this and that. Yes, they are defecting. We are seeing television defections. But when the rat stars, when we get to the rat stars, we begin to find that there are devil in the details that we are not seeing right now.
All right, Professor Simeon, thank you so much for talking to us at this time.
Welcome.
We're going
to have a lovely evening.
And you too, sir. We're going to break on the news. When we return, we'll tell you about the 2025 UTME receipt and bring you other stories too. Don't go away. And I'll tell you that the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, has released the results of the 2025 UTME receipt exams for candidates affected by earlier disruptions. Of the 336,845 candidates scheduled, over 21,000 were absent. JAM says those absentees will be allowed to participate in the mop-up exam. Meanwhile, the board condemned rising examination malpractices, blacklisting several CBT centers and prosecuting those involved. As a one-time waiver, results for underage candidates and those linked to WhatsApp runs were released, but JAM clarified they will not qualify for admission. Commending security agencies for tackling digital fraud, JAM reaffirmed its commitment to a fair and credible exam process, urging students to avoid illegal prep groups. Meanwhile, a total of 17,025 candidates, representing 0.88% of the 1,931,467 students that sat for the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board disclosed this on Sunday in its report while releasing the results of candidates who wrote the receipt examination. The report signals a significant improvement in performance compared with previous years since the adoption of the CBT format in 2013. The released figure exceeds the 1,842,364 results released in 2024 and indicates a steady increase in UTME participation over the years. When compared to previous years, 8,401 candidates representing 0.46% achieved similar scores in 2024, while 5,318 representing 0.35% of the candidates had over 300 in 2023. But I'll tell you that members of the All Progressives Congress in Warri Federal Constituency have expressed their full backing for Presidents Bola Tinubu and Delta State Governor Sheriff Warri in the lead-up to the 2027 elections. Uromi, the APC leader in the federal constituency, however, ruled out automatic tickets for newly defected PDP entrants into the APC to contest all legislative positions in the federal constituency and Delta South senatorial seat. While addressing a large gathering of APC leaders and supporters in Warri, Delta State, south of Nigeria, Emami and other APC chieftains made the declaration during his triumphant return from his vacation abroad and continuation of his Golden Jubilee celebration. The Central's correspondent, Austin Azu, tells us more.
It is likened to the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem as the Delta-born politician and businessman Uromi Emami's flights landed at the Osubi Airport, Delta State, where various political groups of the APC, including his kinsmen, gathered to honor him with a royal welcome back from vacation abroad with a cultural display. In a motorcade, Uromi and others arrived at Buangwe, Warri, for his Golden Jubilee Celebration Badge, which was organized by Francis Warri. The birthday event, which seemed like a political rally, afforded APC leaders and chieftains the opportunity to roll out the scorecard of President Bola Tinubu and pass a vote of confidence in him.
Ovie, that be our governorship candidate that time. So he did a lot. I fallen for this state. If he campaign for himself finish, he go campaign for Asiwaju. Me too go pass there. I go campaign for Asiwaju. I be not be so. So anything what they do, as I they support the governor, as I they support the president, I can never forget Ovie Omo Agege. So we go continue to stay behind Jagaban, make Jagaban continue to doing good work. We know say things hard, but not being custom like what you had to talk.
This may not do well. Anybody go come join the party. The scorecard spoke for itself, and that is why everyone is coming into the party. And today, the whole Nigeria, from coast to coast, are acknowledging that he has performed. So they are clearing the road for 2027. Ajabo is a good man. If we get somebody like this for checking it today, 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't stand since.
Highlight of the event is the cutting of the 50th birthday cake by the celebrant Uromi, joined by other guests. In Warri for News Central, Austin, Azu.
Let's now take you to Ondo State, where all eyes are now on June 4, 2025, as the governorship election petition tribunal in Akure sets the date to deliver its judgment on a closely watched case. The tribunal is ruling on a petition filed by the People's Democratic Party candidate Adbola Ajayi, challenging the outcome of the November 16, 2024 governorship election. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress was declared the winner, securing victory across all 18 local government areas and polling over 366,000 votes. But the PDP and other parties are crying foul. Ajayi, along with his party, alleges widespread irregularities and is seeking the cancellation of the election results. They are not alone. Other parties, including the Social Democratic Party and the African Democratic Congress, have also filed similar petitions. After the adoption of final written arguments on Saturday, the three-member tribunal led by Justice Benson Ogbubu adjourned proceedings and scheduled June 4 as the day of the decision. Now, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit over what it calls the CBN's failure to disclose details of any direct payments made to Nigeria's 774 local government councils. The rights group wants to know exactly how much was sent to each council, if any funds were sent at all. The lawsuit follows a landmark Supreme Court ruling last July, which mandated all allocations from the Federation account must be paid directly to democratically elected local governments. The court also ruled that no state governor has the authority to withhold or control those funds. According to a statement from SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, the suit was filed last Friday at the Federal High Court in Lagos. The group is asking the court to compel the CBN to release full payments details and to clarify whether any such disbursements have been made, particularly to local councils in Rivers State. SERAP says the move is part of efforts to promote transparency and uphold the constitutional rights of local governments across the country. There is growing controversy in Edo State following reports of a violent incident in Uromi, where 16 individuals of northern origin were reportedly killed by a mob, while some accounts describe the victims as innocent travelers and hunters. Residents of Uromi in the Esan Northeast local government area are pushing back, calling those claims false and misleading. Locals insist the individuals were suspected kidnappers believed to be behind a recent surge in abductions in the area. The Central's Amadin Uye visited Uromi and now reports.
It was a visit to Uromi located in Esan North-East local government area of Edo State to uncover the true events that transpired leading to the gruesome murder of 16 Nigerians of northern extraction, labeled as kidnappers by residents of the town. This is the scene where the unfortunate incident happened, where over a dozen suspected kidnappers were apprehended by vigilante, and following an argument, they were gruesomely murdered. Now we have tried to get to the root of the matter to know what exactly transpired on that said day. We have spoken to several who say everything culminated from the insecurity situation they are experiencing on this abandoned federal highway.
This is farming season and hardly you can see a woman or a man going to farm because of these killings and kidnapping. So in this place, we are living on the mercy of God every blessed day because of the kidnapping.
Samuel Inedia, who was recently released by kidnappers after being kidnapped for the second time, says that the kidnappers terrorizing the town are of northern extraction and dismissed claims that they were hunters.
They are Fulanis, sir. They are Fulanis. They are Fulanis. They didn't cover that. So, the Fulanis, if they are speaking language, then you must know. And if you see them for face, you know them quite. They are Fulanis, sir. They collected 15 million naira from me. And I bought some things, about 600-something,000 again. I buy ice, buy, what did they call them again that day? Colos. Buy food, half bag of beans, half bag of rice. I bought a plate of, 8 plate of fried rice from Homies. They said I should add 3 laps of chicken, which I did before they released me.
Also, the patron of the Esan Youth Awareness, a local anti-kidnapping vigilante group, throws his weight behind the claims by many residents of the town, saying that the alleged kidnappers were to blame for their ordeal. While he condemns their gruesome murder by a mob, he, however, insists reports claiming that they were hunters traveling from Port Harcourt to Kano is fake news and misinformation.
They were with guns, not the tradition, not the AK-47 type of gun. They were with their kind of gun. That's what we call Dane gun here, but they are Hausa type, because their own Dane gun is actually different from our own Dane gun here. So they even confirmed it that they were actually carrying some money, that the thing belongs to them. If, for example, they were carrying money individually, you can say this man is carrying 30,000, the other man is carrying 50,000. That is what we can realize in hunting in our bush here. Not even in a day, because where are the animals? Where is the bush here now to hunt?
The state government has set up a committee to investigate the incidents so as to get more clarity on the entire episode. Far away in Kano, the families of the victims are demanding compensation and the arrest of those responsible for their murder. In Uromi for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
The founder and lead pastor of the Transformation Church Worldwide, Reverend Samuel, says Nigerian women can be exceptional leaders with the right training if given the opportunity to serve. He made the call at the 2025 Global Excellence Summit and Awards, a premier event spotlighting diplomacy, leadership, and sustainable development. The Central's correspondent, Israel Iferobo, has more.
The summit was a gathering of top diplomats, government officials, entrepreneurs, and change makers from across Africa and the diaspora held in Lagos. The 2025 Global Excellence Summit and Awards, a premier event spotlighting diplomacy, leadership, and sustainable development. A foremost cleric, Reverend Sam Oye, speaking at the event, called for the increase in the number of women in leadership positions.
I want to say that African women have come of age, and we're glad to see a lot of African women stepping up now. And one of the things that we can do to increase the presence of women in leadership positions is to train women in the area of leading. Women have done very well in managing, but women are going to do exceptionally well when it comes to providing leadership, because one of the major core of leadership is empathy.
Women having the ability to showcase their strengths and their abilities to lead is something that should be commended, and also is something that should be promoted, because one thing about women is when you give them the power, they build an entire nation.
The convener of the summit seeks to chart a transformative path for Africa rooted in collaboration, innovation and equity.
The Global Excellence Summit and Award in partnership with the African Union Agenda 2063 is more than an annual gathering. It is a movement, and this is just the beginning. So I call upon you to work with us, support us in these endeavors that we work in, so that we continue to celebrate excellence.
Reverend Sam Oye, an award recipient, shared his thoughts on being recognized by the body.
I consider it a great honor and privilege to be considered for this great award. I was actually in the United States when I got a call that the African Union Global Excellence Summit and Award has accorded it so for me to be here, both to speak and to be given this award. So it just goes to tell me that someone is watching. Whatever you're doing, someone you don't know is watching.
The event concluded with a Black Tie Awards Gala, recognizing over 100 individuals and organizations for excellence in leadership, innovation, and gender advocacy. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
Coming up on the news, Uganda suspends military cooperation with Germany. We'll tell you more when we return. Join us again. We now turn our attention to a developing public health alert out of West Africa. Sierra Leone has seen a sharp rise in cases of Mpox, the viral disease related to smallpox. According to newly released figures from the country's Ministry of Health, 3,011 cases have now been confirmed nationwide since the beginning of the year. Tragically, 14 people have died from the disease. This marks a nearly 50% increase in reported cases in just 10 days. On May 13, officials had reported 2,045 infections and 11 deaths. For the first time, all regions of Sierra Leone have now recorded cases of the virus. Mpox, first identified in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 1970, had long been confined to about a dozen of African nations. But that changed in 2022 when the disease began spreading more widely across the globe. The World Health Organization declared Mpox a global health emergency in 2024, citing its growing international reach and impact. Health authorities in Sierra Leone are urging increased vigilance and public cooperation as they work to contain the outbreak. Now, Uganda's military has suspended all defense and military cooperation with Germany, accusing German Ambassador Matthias Schauer of engaging in subversive activities aimed at destabilizing the country. The Uganda People's Defense Forces cited credible intelligence linking the ambassador to hostile political military groups opposing the government ahead of the next year's elections. The suspension will remain until the issue is fully resolved. This marks a serious diplomatic rift following allegations that some European diplomats support opposition groups. The German embassy has yet to comment, and Uganda faces growing international criticism over its crackdown on dissent as it prepares for presidential elections. Talking business now, Nigeria's economy has undergone a notable decline from its prime in the 1960s, marked by a sharp reduction in gross domestic product per capita and a depreciation of the naira. This downturn stems from policy missteps external economic pressures and domestic challenges. News Central's business correspondent Chamun Dabeng now reports.
From October 1st, 1960, Nigeria became fully responsible for its own economic growth. Being the most populous nation in Africa, even as far back as the 1960s, Nigeria made up 15% of Africa's population, showing great economic promise. However, this promise never materialized, and today the World Bank has projected that Nigeria's poverty rate could soar to 56% by 2027. The Naira was first introduced January 1st, 1973, replacing the Nigerian pound at a rate of £1 to 2 Naira. Fast forward to 1986, Nigeria, facing economic challenges and declining oil prices, adopted a currency devaluation policy influenced by the World Bank. Another policy shift by the federal government in 2023 led to the float of the Naira, resulting in the currency losing almost 40% of its value within 2 months. And today the Naira currently trades around 1,500 to 1,600 Naira to the dollar.
The Naira was strong because we were trading, we had things we were taking to the market. And it is the goods that you bring to the market that gives your currency value. That's simply what was happening. We were the biggest producers of tin in the world. We were one of the biggest producers of palm. We were one of the biggest producers of cocoa. We were producing timber, and these were in shiploads. Okay, so as long as the market wants what it is you're producing, they're ready to negotiate in whatever currency you bring.
The oil boom of the 1970s led to vast wealth and even the famous Udoji Award to workers. Then came to the 1980s and a significant decline in crude oil prices and production, severely impacting Nigeria's well-being. The commercial and social lockdown Nigeria witnessed in 2020 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic didn't help matters, but further made things difficult. In 2023, the World Bank estimated that around 104 million people in Nigeria were living below the poverty line. By 2024, another report indicated that the figure had risen to 129 million now living in poverty.
I do different kind of job before, but now the economy is not well functioning like that, so I just have to return back to my transport work.
Now they are alive, they save so because like I said, things on the outside, even to get houses in Lagos especially, it's very, very difficult. So people are just struggling out there. It's a lot, it's very bad.
The economy is not smiling. I'm actually an entrepreneur and it's not smiling at all. When I mean it's not smiling, I mean it's not smiling. You can't, your investment, you can't get returns for it. So of what use?
As a result of the poor state of the Nigerian economy, Nigerians are leaving in droves in a movement termed as the Japa Syndrome, resulting in the loss of valuable human capital resources. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria has lost about $10 billion annually to this brain drain.
What we are saying is some persons are also leaving this short because their security in terms of financial security and otherwise is not guaranteed. And for each talent that leaves this nation, it puts a gap. Before now, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, even sometime in the early 90s, we had doctors who are Indians, school teachers who are Indians. Indians were in our schools. Now we are going to them.
Revitalizing Nigeria's economy requires a multifaceted approach, emphasizing diversification beyond oil, enhancing governance, and prioritizing investments in human capital and infrastructure development. Often credited to Nigeria's first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe, the saying, "When Nigeria wakes up, so will the rest of Africa," underscores the nation's immense potential and its critical role on the continent. Today, this belief remains widely held, reflecting Nigeria's position as the giant of Africa, as well as its significant economic and political influence. Nigeria's progress and stability is seen as pivotal drivers for the overall development of Africa. Reporting for News Central Lagos, I am Chamun Dabeng.
In sports, the Stellenbosch secured a CAF Confederation Cup return after a 0 draw with Cape Town City, confirmed their third-place finish in the South African Premiership. Shekinune United, their closest rival, lost 3-2 to Golden Arrows and ended with 9 men. Kaizer Chiefs endured further disappointment, finishing 9th after a goalless draw with Polokwane City, missing the lucrative top 8 competition for a second straight season. Despite ending a decade-long trophy drought with an FA Cup win, coach Nasruddini Nabi's future remains unclear. Meanwhile, Royal AM's expulsion ensures no direct relegation, but 15th place faces a promotion relegation playoff. SuperSport United sit last, pending a ruling on their abandoned match against Arrows due to a stadium power outage. And that's all on the news at this hour. But then we look at our top stories again before we go. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike blames Governor Makinde for PDP crisis, pulls out of reconciliation deal. Over 17,000 candidates scored above 300 in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. We also told you that Mpox crisis deepens in Sierra Leone amid rising deaths and rapid spread. Please send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Don't forget to watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, including YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onobanjo.